Hey guys, South African Chris from New Zealand here, and we're back with another episode of Top Stocks for today, and today being the 9th of December. So as you can see here on the screen, I've got my stock scanner running from my Market Investor Pro software, something that I developed for myself to help me with my investment strategy, which is basically day trading, making multiple trades per month and trying to win more than I lose. So if we look at the previous month, you'll see end of October till end of November, 37 trades, 29 wins, 8 losses, which led to a profitable month, which is what we aim for. In the current month, it's been up and down. I'll talk about it a little bit in a minute, but just looking at my settings here, I've got an acceptable loss that I've set, which is my loss value is R, and then I've got a win value of about 1.5 to 2 R. That's a variable. I change it as I need to. And the idea here is not to see how much profit we can maximize out of or squeeze out of any trade. As soon as we reach that target profit or the target, or acceptable loss, then we cut the losses, or if it's a profit, then we take the profit as it is and we move on. And the idea is over multiple trades in a month, we look at that as the business for the month and what the total profit of that is. The losses are seen as the cost of business, and they do occur. Now here at the top you'll see Pfizer, which is my one and only fundamental trade deal that I've done recently. I usually don't do fundamental trading. I do trading based on technical indicators, but you'll see on Pfizer it's currently highlighted in red. That's not because it's a loss. It's just indicating to me that I should take my profit. It is already above the level where I set it, but this one is an exception for me. I'm going to wait until the 10th of December tomorrow and see what happens once that gets FDA approved. It might take a day or so longer to realize, but I've set a target profit here at $45, so we'll see what happens and whether that materializes. If I see this dipping to below 40, I will sell. All right. Yesterday we spoke about a few things. So first we had Appian Corporation from the 7th, from Monday, running from Monday. I had a target price set there to sell at $165, which it did reach, and then it tanked after that. So overnight, for me overnight, daytime in the US, but it reached some high levels and then it started to tank again. So luckily my trade kicked in at 165 and I made some good profit there. The other one that we looked at was Coupa Software. And actually in pre-trading they were one of the fast movers. So on CNBC News, on the financial news, they spoke about the fast movers yesterday, and Coupa was one of them. So it means that the system is working, but as you can see, that was short-lived and the stock tanked. So currently I'm running quite a loss on this one, $748. Usually I would cut my losses before I get to that, but I did not set a cut loss price to a stop loss to get out of the deal. So I'm kind of stuck with this one for the moment. Now normally what I would say the right thing to do is to cut your losses and move on and not hang on to them. But if I look at the indicator on Coupa Software, I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a bounce here of the EMA 18. If that does not happen and we drop below the EMA 18, then I will just have to take my loss. That might then actually push that further to about $850 to $900 loss on this trade, which is not nice for me, but it happens. You know, I took a bit of a chance because I lost a week of trading due to illness, so I try to make up for that, and maybe I've been a little bit reckless. Any case, we'll see how that plays out. We can see here that the highs were pretty good, 337. It closed at 314, but it means that there is a bit of potential. If we look at the stochastics, we can see that we've just hit above that bottom level there of 30, and what I suspect is going to happen is we're going to see a similar pattern as to what we saw here. We might reach up and go down and go up again, so I might just let this one ride a bit. If we look at the MACD, we're still bullish, but it is looking like there might be a potential intersection in the not so distant future, in which case I'll have to cut my losses on this one. So yeah, and the same on the RSI. We can see that it's above the 50 line, which tells us a little bit bullish, but it's heading down fast. So I've got to keep my eye on this one. I'm a little bit worried about it, but let's see what happens. Maybe there's a difference in the trend. Yesterday the markets were a little bit down, so let's hope there's a bit of an improvement there. A loss is okay. I'm hoping I can just reduce the loss a little bit, if at all possible. We'll see. Fleet Core Technologies. This one also a loss. Same story. We didn't have a great day yesterday, so if we look at the technical indicators here, we can see that we're reaching the top here on the stochastics. There's still a huge gap here in the MACD, and it looks very bullish on the MACD, but on the RSI and obviously from the candles, we can see that it's not really materialized, this one, for me. Again, I'm gonna watch this one this evening very carefully, and I'll make a choice whether to cut that one as it is or maybe let it ride a little bit more. I think my acceptable loss level is about $300 per trade. So here we've got Envy Corporation, very small profit there. So same story. If we look at the indicators, we've got a doji candle there. It might not be good news for us. It might mean that this could drop down. It looks like we've had a big jump here on the candlesticks, and then a little bit of a consolidation. So let's hope we get another rise out of this. I'll leave it for another day at least on the stochastics, to see what happens. Maybe we get a bit more profit out of that one. Whirlpool, also not great news, bit of a loss there, $214. It's still okay, still manageable. Again, if we look at the stochastics, it was looking like it was going to turn back to head above that bottom line of 30 on the stochastics. It didn't yet, so maybe we get a similar sort of pattern as we see here, and that seems to be what's happening this week with some of the stocks. We get some repeat patterns of what happened here between the 10th and the 11th. Sorry. So these are the months. So between the in October and November, late October, mid-October to mid-November. So let's see what happens. I'll just keep my eye on these boys very carefully. Now, there's another few that I put on the watch list. So we've got Dollar General Corporation. This one hasn't turned back up yet on the stochastics, so I'm not going to get into that one right yet. I'll just keep on watching it. And then we've got Renewable Energy Group, which is one that I think I might get into today, possibly. I'll see what my stock shortlist has come up with and whether we've got some other good options. The scan is finished. It's found 26. Some of these I already have on my list. So just before we get into that, remember that we look at the industries, and it's always good to just head over to finviz.com, go to groups, and look at the 1 day, the 1 week, and the 1 month relative performance for various sectors and industries, and do the same from sectorspider.com. And you'll see from this pie chart here at the top, you can select various industries, and you can then compare their performance for these funds against the S&P 500, and you want to see something that outperforms. So when you select a stock here on the list, on your short list, you want to make sure that the industry is at least trading well and looking good, because as a general rule of thumb, the odds are 75% that a stock belonging to that industry will follow the industry trend. Okay, so we've obviously got Coupa Software in there, so let's look. I'm not going to do healthcare. I spoke about it yesterday. I don't want to look at the healthcare sector quite yet, apart from Pfizer. Consumer Services DG, we've already got that on the list. Let's look at this one, FSLR. What's that? So First Solar. I think I did look at this one yesterday. I didn't like the MACD here, so I'm not going to keep this one on my watch list. I should actually choose to ignore it, which is what I'm going to do. Finance, not a top performing sector at this stage, or industry at this stage, but let's see what the technical indicators look like. Somewhat positive, nothing great. I think there's a bit of a risk here. This looks like a very bearish candle. I'm gonna try and reduce my risk a little bit at this stage. Once bitten, twice shy, I guess. And next one we've got here is health equity. Oh, I thought I wasn't going to get into health, but I see that's health equity. So yeah, it doesn't look terrible, this one. Pretty positive and bullish history here in the stochastics. Same with the MACD. We might consider this one. I see it's bouncing or touching on the e07 there. It's something I can keep in the watch list at the very least. ITW, so this is Illinois Toolworks. I think I've traded this one before. We can see a crossover on the MACD from bullish to bearish. It's about 5 or 6 days ago, so I'm gonna not trade on this one. Let's see how many days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago we had a crossover, and my maximum is 5 days. If it's within 5 days on the with a crossover on the MACD, then I usually don't go for it. You can see my MACD settings here. So we've got a fast period of 50, slow period of 100, and a signal period of 9. It looks like it's heading up towards the 50 line here on the RSI, which could potentially mean some profit here. Now, if we just look at history, so what we had here, 210, we're currently at 206. Yeah, not looking hot. I'm not gonna look at that one today. And here we've got JD.com. So same thing, but bearish crossover not too long ago on the MACD. Nope. JKS, so Jinx Solar Holding Company. We see a bit of bouncing off the EMA18 and then dipping below that to the EMA50. It looks like a little bit of a crossover there not too long ago, so nope, not this one. And in fact, instead of you having to watch me go through all of these, let me do them and then I'll give you the rundown once I'm finished. Okay, so I've run through these, and I know I said no healthcare, and you'll see there's one healthcare. We'll talk about it. But let's first look at the ones that I've added. So we've got health equity here, and if we look at the indicators, we can see that there was a huge jump over here on the 11th, just on the 9th of November. And then a little bit of a consolidation, I guess, still an upward trend really, going back, hitting that EMA 18. This would be a risky trade. What I would like to do is keep it on my watch list and just keep an eye on it and see what it does, even if it's just to educate myself and kind of see how that stock behaves. But I don't think I'll get into it. It's a bit risky. Stitch Fix. You can see here, yesterday they've had a massive jump, so obviously some news or something happening that drove up the pre-sales or pre-market sales, so or pre-market price. So that's pretty good. Bit of almost a doji here the day before that, and although the pre-market price pushed up quite a lot to a high of $55 almost, you can see that it actually closed lower at 49, which still good profit to be made there. It looks like a very close touch there on crossing over on the MACD. This one is not the usual, I guess, for me to trade, but I'm not going to go in my full 10% on this one. I guess I do want to trade it because it looks interesting, but I'll just go 5% of my available capital into that one for this trade, reducing my risk and potential loss there, and by doing so also the potential profit. Ultra Beauty, this one looks a little bit promising, so I'm going to wait another day to see if on the stochastics we get a turnaround there to get back up to that bottom line, but everything else looks pretty good. Very bullish on the MACD, big gap, no imminent intersection in the near future, excuse me, and you know, pretty good on the RSI, so that's that one. And then we've got this McKesson Corporation Healthcare, the industry that I said I don't like at this stage, but the indicators look good. So we can see a positive trend here on the RSI, bullish on the MACD, perfect timing on the stochastics. The candles are not way off of the EMAs, so shouldn't have any big snapback, which means we could have a bit of a jump here potentially. I think there could be some potential profit to be made. So having said that, let's get into these ones. So first we said Stitch Fix. Let me just go back here. So we said Stitch Fix, and I'm going to go in on this one, only 5%. So you'll see my, and I will just click on this button to give me the most current price. You'll see my auto positioning will give me an indicator of how many to buy. I'm going to just half that so that we do half that size on this trade. And then on this McKesson Corporation, I'm going to go full in. So I'm going to do 61 of those, coming close to my 10% on this trade. So we'll record that one, and those are my trades for today. Very important, I need to watch Cooper Software. If this can come close to zero, I'm gonna just cut my losses there and try and reduce it from where it is now. If it goes below 7, if the price drops below $312 or maybe $311, I will then also just cut my losses there and move on. Anyway, as you can see, trading is good sometimes and sometimes it's bad. It's very risky, so it's important that you do your research. What I show you here is just my strategy and the way that I trade, but the stock market is volatile and risky and anything can happen. So do your due diligence, and I hope that this gives you some good insight on my system and what I do. Happy trading, and remember to subscribe, hit the like button, do all the things, invite people, and help me to build my channel so that I can have more followers and continue to do this on a daily basis. Cheers guys, bye.